positive about you, but you default to the soundtrack. I've got a dog and a cat named Felix, and they fight a lot. I really like the school. Good story. My aunt went here. I'm really glad to be here working for ABC Fidelity, Elemental LLC, PQRZ, whatever. Plug in the name. I've been with the company for 8 years. Really great company to work with. And it's good to be here. In terms of telling your own story, this is the net sum 0. Today, everyone talks about what we're netting out in terms of energy. How much energy are we using? How much are we replacing? It's the same with telling our stories. Either you took energy away from the people in the room, or you brought positive energy to the room. Nobody ever walks away saying, "Boy, I met John. I'm completely neutral from having met John." StoryPathing, TM. Your story is a great source of energy. Any chance to tell it is an opportunity to provide energy to others. But the energy doesn't come from the story alone. It comes from the value your story suggests you bring. That might be commercial value, social value, your value as a friend. It makes other people more willing to listen to you. And that's all that anybody needs, right? In an interview, a sales meeting, or at a conference or seminar. We want people to listen. What makes people listen is knowing that the very thing that you're doing right now, you're supposed to be doing, that you're aligned with your story, that this is where your story has brought you. When you tell your story, it provides not only an anchor in the past, but also a compass that points to where you're heading. It brings you to your current reality en route to a somewhere you're projecting. Psychologists call this making a provisional identity claim. I call it StoryPathing. StoryPathing says to the listener, here's where I've been, here's where I am, here's where I'm headed. That stakes your provisional claim right there. The next bit goes like this. It all makes sense, doesn't it? You feel energized, and don't you want to support me? You think I have value and worth, and my story has shown that. Thanks, because it's my story, and I've thought about it, and I've activated it. By StoryPathing, by making sense of where you've been and where you're headed, you can show that you have more engagement and more value wherever you land because your story aligns with who you are. If I understand that the very thing you're trying to do right now is what you're supposed to be doing, I will grant you some sort of opportunity. I'll give you space or support. I'll introduce you to more people. People have no problem extending a meeting or doing anything they can to help somebody get to this place of alignment. We have an impulse to support people who are good at things. We buy tickets to see people who are good at singing. We go to plays to see good actors. If you're good at telling your own story, people will buy in. They'll see not only that you're good at what you're doing, but also that you have evidence of your value because the evidence is embedded in the story. You are talking the talk because you walked the walk. Can I do it? You might look at your life and worry that you don't have the kind of experiences that will let you StoryPath. Wrong. If you've lived 12 years on the planet or 92, you can tell your story to show your value. We all can. Storytelling isn't foreign to us. We did it habitually when we were younger. For whatever reason, we fell out of practice, but it's still latent within us. It's an unused muscle we can start using again. It's not just telling a story, like relating an anecdote or having a chat. It's more than arriving at a meeting and saying the traffic was really bad, so I'm a little bit late. That says nothing about you. StoryPathing is an act of self-authorship, but it's also a method for discerning lived experiences. Anyone can drift through a normal life. They're not that engaged in the world, and the world's not that interested in them. When you StoryPath, the world makes more sense because you're making more sense of it. Trust me, it all makes sense. StoryPathing helps a person live what some psychologists call a phenomenal life, not meaning phenomenal as in fantastic.